First of all, welcome to Bristol. I don't know if you got a good welcome when you came here. I trust you did. Good. So my question is this, to kind of wrap things up. We've heard from Stuart talking about the London factor, and we've heard from Brian talking about funding, and we've heard from Chris as well talking about attracting the big businesses. So for a better way to frame the question, I suppose it's you're our man on the inside. You're there with influential people every day being able to make decisions. What is it that a city like Bristol, obviously well connected and full of creative people, need to do to be recognised inside the government, and it will excite the government? And you mentioned Chicken Run and the BBC programmes. What is it that's going to excite the government, that's going to make them turn their eyes towards cities like Bristol and be able to connect us all so we can all move forward? Because Bristol is already rushing forward in what it's doing. So what is it that we need to do to be heard, recognised, accepted, jumped upon, excited within government?
I don't think you want to be jumped on by government, but I certainly would recommend it. Look, can I just slightly sort of... I'm not trying to satisfy, I'm ducking the question, I'm not. I think it's a slightly different challenge. It's not what makes civil servants and politicians excited about Bristol in London. It's what gives you the freedom and the innovation and the liberty to do what you know is best for Bristol. And that's, that's what I think, quite rightly from the earlier discussion we had, I think that is the challenge to government, is, you should be pushing us, as you are, and as you have been this afternoon, to kind of let go much more, even more quickly than we are seeking to do. I think one of the things that has held back Bristol and has held back large parts of this country for far, far too long is this assumption, which is actually buried in your question, that everything needs to be determined in London. That's partly what's gone wrong, this assumption that nothing really moves, nothing really happens, nothing is really set free unless someone in Whitehall signs a piece of paper or pushes a button or pulls a lever. And that's why I believe that the kind of measures that we're taking to try and loosen up the planning system, loosen up the tax system, loosen up the regulatory system, loosen up finance, should allow for the kind of Austin-type innovation and competition and experimentation that we know works incredibly well, not only in North America, but in large parts of Europe as well. That's the kind of approach. And by the way, it comes back to the first question. I think the regional approach was one which was very convenient to central government. Central government like big blocks. Central government, if you're sitting in Whitehall, you can kind of get a map out, and there's a big RDA there, and a big RDA there, and the country in slight sort of neo-colonial fashion is neatly kind of parcelled up into these blocks, and you know exactly who's in charge for that whole part of the country. In a sense, what we're doing now is kind of trying to get rid of some of that panoply of layers of bureaucracy that were all linked to very centralised way of looking at things, and then giving you the power, the say, the money, the freedom to get on with things. That's the vision.
And can we now trust you? You will drive that vision for all the creative regions around the country to make it happen.
I mean, I think it depends. Actions speak louder than words. I think, as I said before, we've already done a whole bunch of things which show, in the first 12 months of this government, which show real, clear sense of purpose in trying to decentralise our economy, set places like Bristol, set places like Sheffield, where I'm MP, free. And I won't rehearse them again, whether it's the change to the tax system, the planning system, the regulatory system, the enterprise zones, the local enterprise partnerships, the technology innovation centres, all of that fits into that, it's a sort of mosaic which fits into that vision. Personally, I think the big piece of the jigsaw that is missing, probably the biggest of all, as ever, is about money. And I think one of the great hypocrisies in British political life for too long has been politicians of all parties waxing lyrical about how we need to set Bristol free and set this area free, set that area free, but not actually giving Bristol, or indeed any other local authority, any greater say over how money is raised and spent. And I think until we do that, you are quite right to constantly challenge us to match our rhetoric with words. And I certainly am determined to play my bit to ensure that you are satisfied by the end.
It sounds like the closing words of the politicians. I'd like to say thank you very much, Nick, for that. Thank you for that insight. Do come closer to us, because if we come closer, get them down to SME level, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be So do be aware of that. I'd like you to give a warm round of applause to Nick Clegg.